I'm Michael Hudson. Welcome to episode 4 of Michael's Magical Moments. I've created this series for you to help you find ways to create small magical moments in your life. Magical moments that accelerate your progress. Magical moments that accumulate over time to create massive impact. Because that's where the real impact comes from, in those small moments. It's the small things. It's kind of like this little slide changer that I wear on my finger. It's a small tool, but it has a big impact on my ability to deliver these messages to you. Today's message is one that's near and dear to my heart. I've spent much of the last 30 plus years working with small business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, speakers, nonprofit leaders, leaders of business units within business organizations. And what I've found is many times they all get tripped up by the same thing. And that thing is this. They try to chase everyone and make them a customer or bring them into the fold of the organization, when in reality, some of them don't fit. So today's objective is to show you how to stop wasting time trying to serve the people who don't fit. Think about it. If you go to a networking function and you meet someone and they're telling you about their business, and you were to say to them, so tell me about your ideal customer. Who does your business like to try to serve? What you're going to find in most cases is that the longer they talk, the more people they will add into that possible group of customers. Most of us lack clarity on who we should serve, and we therefore define this universe of almost everybody that we're trying to serve. Now what happens is when we broadcast so broadly and try to hit everybody, we end up hitting nobody. Well, I don't want you to do that. So I'm going to give you 3 specific things you can do today that will help you move past that. These are behaviors and things that I've picked up that are memorable because when they were shared with me, somehow they hooked and they connected. So number 1, when they say no, invite them to go. Here's the reality. You put your message out there, you put your product out there, you share your cause. There are those who are going to accept it and see that it fits for them and have an interest in getting on board and working with you. But there are also those who are going to refuse to accept it. They're not going to be willing to listen. They're going to be asking so many questions to prove that what they believe is right or wrong that it'll confuse your messaging. If you want to get serious about creating an impact, focus your message. Focus your message so clearly that you can have the ones who will say no, and then you can invite them to go, letting them know someone else is better suited to serve them, and you can put your time and energy on those you were intended to serve. Number 2, when they complain, you restrain. A lot of times what will happen is this. Someone that we probably shouldn't have been serving in the first place comes into our sphere and we engage with them. And what we discover is that most of what they do and most of the time they spend and invest in interacting with us is complaining. I've heard many people who sell online products and courses talk about this, how they have the small percentage of people who are responsible for 90% of the complaints, and even though the person may come back and buy from them again, once again the cycle of complaining begins. Here's what you want to do. When they complain, you restrain. You hold back. It's not that you ignore them or are rude to them, but you make it clear, this is how we set things up, this is how we do things, and you're basically letting them know that complaint that they're raising is not something you're going to pay attention to. That pretty much invites them to raise their hand and say, I'm not interested in being served by you, and walk away. And for you, that's a good thing. The third thing is this. When they fight, let them be right. I once watched a business owner spend literally 30 or 40 minutes at a counter in front of a bunch of other customers having an argument with a customer. Now the reality is the customer was wrong and the business owner was right. But in that time that was spent, what do you suppose happened? There were a few people who walked out. There were a number of people mumbling and muttering about, can you believe this is happening? And there were a few sort of taking the sides of one or the other and almost cheering them on. That's why my advice is that when they fight, let them be right. Say you appreciate their perspective, you understand their opinion, you respect it, but at this, you don't wish to go any further in this conversation, and exercise what you believe in that lives up to the values of your business and you as a person. These 3 things can help you. The question is, what do you do first? Well, your first action step is simple. Define who you want to serve and commit to serving them. Get very clear on this. I'm going to share a brief story here to illustrate this. I spent a lot of time in a business that I built and ran for several years trying to serve everyone who came along, feeling like because they were in a certain industry and I did a lot of work in that niche, I needed to be there for all of them. Well, one day I had an epiphany that made me realize how much of my time was getting lost serving the ones that I wasn't really impacting, and I was just accepting the job of serving them because they raised their hand and expressed an interest. So I got very clear about defining who the target client was. Guess what happened? They all of a sudden began showing up. I began asking different questions, which allowed me to filter out the ones I wasn't meant to serve so I could get the privilege of working with the ones I was meant to serve. That took the business to a whole new level. It changed my entire outlook. It reduced my stress. It let me know I was making more of an impact. And I'm pretty sure that's what all of you watching this video want to do in the work you do. So it's your turn. What do you think? Can you put these 3 ideas to work? Do they resonate with you? Are they memorable enough that you can pull them back up when you need them? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not watching today's video on my website, please go to michaelhudson.com/blog and post a comment directly below this video. Share your best idea for how to focus on serving the people you're intending to serve. Share your best idea on how to get rid of the people you don't want to be serving. And give me any feedback you've got that can make this series work better for you. Also, please don't forget to send an email to michael@michaelhudson.com and let me know of ideas you'd like to see me cover in future episodes of Michael's Magical Moments. Finally, if you found value in today's video, I'd be honored if you'd take the time to pass it along to a friend or a colleague or a business associate. Even better, I'd love it if you'd share it on social media so that others can have a chance to engage in the conversation, so we can all grow by learning from what we all know. I'm Michael Hudson. Thank you for watching this episode of Michael's Magical Moments.